Sorry about that, everyone. My camera just ran out of battery. Anyway, so let's pick up where I was talking about. Graphics, parts of the story really just made you stop. Yeah. So during the game, they do just make you stop and make you just take in all the scenery, which really, to me, was a really just amazing thing that I never felt in a video game before. The game really. Literally, I kid you not, if you've watched my unboxing of the game, you realise I was just playing The Walking Dead. So coming up after the best game of the year, which was a similar vein to what I feel the game The Last of Us is trying to be, really just makes you consider, and that The Walking Dead was game of the year pretty much everywhere. The Walking Dead and Halo, and I'm pretty sure The Walking Dead got more game of the year awards than Halo did, so it pretty much is game of the year. This game beats it by a mile, for sure. The story is much better. The characters are about on par, I will say that, I'm not sure. I didn't really feel much for Ellie. I thought she was just a spoilt brat, but Joel I really felt connected to. Like, I wanted to know what he was going through, and again, I'm not going to spoil any of this, but there was a part in the game where he really just made me connect to him and feel for him. And I really had that experience with Clementine and Lee. Both of those characters, but equally, I felt for both of them. Mainly Lee. I really tend to feel a lot more for the main characters rather than the the sidekick type characters. But in this case, females like BioShock Infinite. I really felt mainly towards what was Booker DeWitt. I've forgotten his name. Booker DeWitt. I really felt more attached to him than I did the girl. What was her name? Shit, I can't remember her name. Anyway, this isn't about that game. Yeah, I really felt more attached to Joel a lot. Out of all three of those main characters, all three. Last of Us, BioShock Infinite, and The Walking Dead, I felt most attached to Joel. And it really helped that my name... now, this is in my review. This is my feelings of the game. This does not obviously occur to everyone because they don't have the name Joel, but it really helped that when I was playing through this game, I heard people like Joel is the main character. So whenever they said, "Come here, Joel," or interacted with the name Joel, interacted with the main character, I did feel as if I was there. I was this character because they're calling out to me. They're calling me. So that really did help a lot, but again, that's more my personal preference. If your name is Booker DeWitt or Lee, I don't know, you might have a bigger connection with them, I'm not sure, but for me, Joel really did strike a good hit for me. I don't think I really liked Clementine, Ellie as much as I did Clementine. She was good, Ellie, but she just felt more like a little brat to me. It wasn't until the very end where I really felt connected with her, where she really just started to become more attached to Joel and treat him a little bit more like a father figure, rather than just some schmuck who wanted to get her to this place to get his weapon, to get the thing that he promised this girl that he'd get for her, to bring her to this place. So that's pretty much my feelings on that. Now, a similar... This is off vein, but this is something that I just picked up a little earlier on. As soon as I started the game, I thought to myself when I was starting to play the game, in each Insomniac game or Naughty Dog in conjoints, they've all got some reference to the other's game. For example, in the original Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, that's a pretty obvious one. Everyone knows Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. Again, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. But this is one which I think they did a similar thing to, which is Resistance and Uncharted. In Resistance, the main protagonist was called Nathan Hale, and in Uncharted it was called, of course, Nathan Drake. In this game, both Joel and Dalton Brooks, to me, look almost identical with the exception of Joel's beard. And the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure they're voiced by the same guy. I forget his name, not Nolan North, but he's... Troy Baker. I'm pretty sure they're both voiced by him, which is a pretty weird or coincidence type thing to have. So that was just another pickup for me. And that was another thing. This game, being a post-apocalyptic world, felt awfully strange some parts of the game to Resistance for me. In particular, the Los Angeles level. I don't know why, but I just really, there was one level in particular, which I'm not going to say, but it really just made me feel. Oh, and the forest level in Resistance, I can't remember its name, but you meet the cloaking chimera. That also had a little bit. I also felt the similar vein to one part in The Last of Us. So it just goes to show that maybe they did have something to do with each other. And perhaps that maybe Naughty Dog did get some level of what's the word I'm looking for? Not help. Like some level of inspiration. That doesn't really, it's not the exact word I'm looking for, but inspiration sort of from Resistance. So yeah, that's just something that I picked up on personally. I would have liked it, to be honest, if they had like an XP system for killing enemies. A lot of the time I would go through the level and try and clear out as many dudes as I can, only until the later levels that I say, fuck it, this is getting way too out of hand, I'm just going to bolt. I'm just going to do the sneaky approach. I'm just going to just fucking run. I can't, this is way too hard to kill all these enemies. I can't do it. So only then did I really feel like that. But apart from that, I really tried to kill as many people as I can, so it's pretty much a clear area and I could scout and get all the supplies that I needed. And I wish they had some type of reward system for players who did that like me. Instead of having more the scavenger collecting type people get the XP from looking around. Oh, not really XP, but you know, like special bonuses for looking around. Which brings me to my next thing. The multiplayer. Yes, it is time to talk about the multiplayer. Now, might I just add that this is how you fucking do multiplayer in a video game. Not just for a single-player centric game in general, but games. Just all games. Call of Duty, everything needs to do multiplayer like this and the way they've done it. Not particularly what the actual gameplay is like, but how they've marketed it. They've focused generally on the single player. And I kid you not, the only video I knew of multiplayer, I wouldn't have even known it if it wasn't for this one trailer that came out a couple weeks ago. And because of this trailer, I knew that there was multiplayer, but they didn't focus on it, which is perfect. And might I just add, this is the best multiplayer I've ever played in a video game, period. But that's not saying too much, because I'm not a big multiplayer guy per se, but the ones I've played are like Call of Duty, Mass Effect, Resistance, ones like that. Injustice, PlayStation All-Stars, that's probably a close second. Transformers, I really enjoyed Dark of the Moon, that multiplayer. So that's generally that's generally what I feel the multiplayer is and how they should do it. Now let's actually talk about the multiplayer and why it's so good. Now, there are two different factions. As soon as you jump into multiplayer, you'll notice you get to choose two factions. The Fireflies or the Hunters. I went with the Fireflies, and at the moment I'm at week 3, day 7, I believe. I'm just at the end of, I think I'm at the end of week 3. And the two modes are Supply and Something. It's pretty much like a team deathmatch. Kill someone, he comes back. Yeah, and you group up in a group of 4. And you pretty much take on either these two game modes, Supply and Something or other. That's not what it's called, but it's Supply and Something. I only played it 3 games because I just wanted to get to get a win for it, and then I tried out Survivor, which that's pretty much what I've stuck with. I didn't have a very good opening for the multiplayer on beginning it. For example, what I mean is Survivor is basically you die. You stay dead until the next round, until everyone's either done, either dead, or the other team's killed, or you've killed the other team. So it's similar to like elimination or something or other like that. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. That's probably my favorite game mode in like Call of Duty, but Call of Duty really has Search and Destroy, which isn't the same, but it's similar. Now, what you're going to be trying to do in multiplayer is finding these chest crates. These give you like extra things like scissors, sticky tape, things that help you upgrade your weapons and make different bombs and shit like that. You could also get the lucky chance of finding a pipe or a plank for an extra melee weapon, and also just the standard gears, which are more currency in this. Now, I'll go back to what I was saying about the Survivor, per se. I found the first 3 matches that I played of Survivor, they were incredibly bad. The connections were horrendous. What would happen was, I'd start the match, I'd run, then I'd freeze, everyone else would freeze, then they would go for about 2 seconds, and they would keep moving, and then I'd unfreeze, and then I'd walk for about 5 seconds, and then I'd freeze, everyone else would freeze, and it'd just be a continuous repeat of that, and that wasn't a very good connection. I had the very final game of those 3 was, it was the 4th game actually. I met these 2 people, who are Australian of course, because that's the only way I would have gotten a good connection, because I think I was getting Americans, to be honest. I got a connection with him, and he, oh, what the hell was that? Anyway, I got a good connection with him, and he actually, both of them had a mic, and they joined up with their clan, which... that I feel is how the multiplayer is meant to be played. After that, I loved it. We were teaming up together, we were all going in a group of me, these 2 people, and we generally went with the random. We had a strategic plan that we always that we pretty much took in place each game mode, each map we played. What we did was, as soon as the game started, we ran out, grabbed generally 2 gearboxes. We sometimes went for the 3rd, but we generally went for 2. We'd run back to the base, and we'd lay up. If we had bombs, we'd make bombs. If we didn't, someone would gift us over a part to make the bombs, and then mines, and then we'd lay them around. We'd just wait for them, literally, and it was like that. It's just so cool. You have no bullets. You have to take it slow and everything. Sorry, you have to take it slow and everything, which makes the multiplayer just amazing. It really does. You have to be so cautious. My heart was pumping whenever I was in a game. I generally went for... it was weird actually what type of class I was. There aren't classes per se, but you can swap out your weapons and extra team perks and stuff. I generally was support, but I also got... I don't know. I was generally the one that killed pretty much all of the... that got the most kills in the game. I'm not bragging or anything like that, but I'm just saying that was generally what I did. But for some reason, whenever we'd get like a bad 3rd teammate and he was AFK or something, we'd always lose. We'd always lose, no matter what we did. So I'm just going to leave it there with the multiplayer. I've pretty much covered everything. I've covered what it's like, what I feel about it. I think I've said this, but best multiplayer I've ever played. Just putting it out there. Now... the last... it also requires a online pass. It's a PlayStation game. I think everyone expected that. Now, onto the very, very last segment type thing of this review. I know it's gone into 2 parts, and I apologize. I am, of course, talking about the score. The score. That's all my feelings really about the game. The notes that I took from playing through the game. Now... the scoring. This I really want to talk about. I was thinking about this long and hard to what I wanted to review this game. I want it to be... it's definitely better than Bioshock Infinite in my opinion. I've mentioned this again previously. I would probably give Bioshock Infinite an 8.75 or an 8.5. And I'd probably give The Walking Dead probably an 8.5. So, from that... what do I rate this game? Do I rate it a 10? Do I think no other game is better than this game? Is it the definitive best game ever made? Is it a fantastic game? A 9? Is it in between? A 9.5? Well, I'm glad to say that I think The Last of Us is a solid 9 out of 10. I think this game is amazing. One of the best games on the PS3. However, the nostalgia and just the gameplay and story I liked more than I liked Tools of Destruction's atmosphere a lot more, and it definitely pulled me a lot further. I think this is probably my 2nd favorite game ever. Just saying, it actually beats pretty much all the Ratchet and Clanks apart from Tools of Destruction, which is a big saying. So yeah, that's just my opinion. That is really what I think the game truly deserves. I don't think it's worth an 8. Like some reviewers say, stop! I don't think it's worth a 10, like IGN or Good Gamer giving it. That was a horrible cough, by the way. But I think it's a solid 9. I really do. I was on the verge of giving it maybe a 9.25, but that is stretching it a little bit. And to be honest, the gameplay did feel a little bit repetitive. Like there wasn't much. Like in games that have this sort of shooting style, there's generally a short campaign or some type of new variation to the formula. For example, in like Modern Warfare games, that's a fairly short campaign, and it has different things to break up the action. This is generally just a shoot, shoot, kill all the enemies, enjoy a long walk, some story, gameplay, story. Like it was just generally that whole formula, and it wasn't really different. Like I wasn't really upgrading my weapons. I was getting new weapons, but I generally stuck to a shotgun and I had 2 pistols that I really, 3 actually. I really enjoyed the pistols. The one with the scope, the shotgun pistol, just the regular anaconda or a python. I forget what it's. One of those 2. I'm pretty sure. So. And the weapons the primary weapons I generally just stuck with the, I think I stuck, the shotgun definitely, and also the other, it wasn't really a sniper, it was more of a rifle type gun. It was really helpful for the parts where I was trying to look over the corners a little bit and snipe their heads off. And generally towards the later levels you got like a flamethrower, and at the very end chapter you got an actual automatic rifle. But I didn't really like the rifle that much, to be honest. I just spoiled it a little bit. Oh well, sue me. That was my opinions on The Last of Us. I thought it was a fantastic game, one of the best games on the PS3. That's really it. I don't think it's worth more than that. I don't think it's worth less than that. Actually, no, I won't go into detail. Alright, so that's it for The Last of Us review. A very different and a very unplanned review. I'm probably going to be editing this on a new software that I just got. Hopefully this one will be better than my previous one, where, if you've noticed, I did it on my Fuse review. It cut off the tops of the video, so it was just generally like this, and I was squished down. But I've tried, it's pretty much an updated version of the software. So, I think I had this like PowerDirector 11. It's a higher, it's like 5 higher than the other one. I think I had like PowerDirector 6 or something. Surely, I don't think it was that low. It was something like that. PowerDirector something or other. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. I hope you enjoyed the review. This is very rushed because I wanted. Because I got the game probably earlier than most people, and I beat it within 2 days, whereas America's probably been playing it for 1, so they haven't finished the game probably. So I want to get this review out, get it in before pretty much anyone's played it, and when people are just starting to play the game, so when they finish it, they can jump online, look at some reviews, and I'll be one of the first there. Alright, this is the Oz Commander. I've gone way too long on this review. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time for more gameplay and stuff.